And the thing
That's
is,
another
you've
resource.
got, you know, as long as capitalism is in place, the mindset's going to be continual growth,
That
and
is.
you're gonna use up all the resources. You're going to run out of space. It's not sustainable. It will come crashing down
Yeah.
at some point. It will. But here's the thing: we might hit 4C before that, and 4C will pretty much wipe out humans.
There's gonna be we're at this precipice. Like we're pretty damn close. I feel like we're like in suspension, maybe. Like we're falling, but we haven't like felt the fall yet.
What's the cartoon, with the beep beep, and the roadrunner and a wily coyote, he runs off the edge and he keeps running and running and running. Then he realizes there's no ground underneath them, and right, and
I
you just see
know.
him go.
Yeah.
And
Like I
then in
feel
the
like
cartoon, you see the little right when it splats on the ground. Well, we're in the we just
yeah,
haven't got yet on the ground.
I know. And like we're just starting to feel some effects, right? With just
Yeah,
what's happening with like heat waves. I mean, just within like 2 years, if you start counting this decade 2020, right? Like obviously like there's been a lot of disasters.
and it's just going to keep ratcheting up. Well, the other analogy I use is that the toilet's been flushed when it's swirlies.
We're going into this increasingly like more intense world, I guess, like less and less resources we've talked about, just
Yeah.
the way we living is just going to change dramatically and versus
It's going to happen. What may happen if we humans don't go extinct, you might end up with isolated pockets.
okay.
You know,
Yeah, it's
but there will be no infrastructure, so there won't be like internet and tweets and that kind of stuff. It will be none of that. So it'll be going back to paleo cave living or some shit like that.
I think of that too actually as like a good, at least like for a while until like they can't go on any longer or they keep dwindling. There's the people, and who knows what the people will be like at that point, but that's a good
Yes.
that's a
They'll be living in caves, and then the bears will come in and kind of go, "No, this is my cave. You're getting out of here. So you're getting out of here. I'll maul you to death if you don't leave."
exactly. So like this paleo tribal societies kind of situation, like, and we're going towards that world. We're lose even though there's this gain of technology, like there's gonna come a point where we're all gonna just drop off. And it might be, it's hard. I don't know.
I'll be dead, but you might be around to witness, see what the hell happens.
But so yeah, we're like at the beginning of like falling off that.
Yeah, we are. I mean,
uh
just look what happened, as you mentioned. Look what happened just this year with the flooding in Europe, the fires, the drought, the fires in Siberia, which, by the way, put so much carbon into the atmosphere. That was a major dump of carbon, massively increasing the ppm. And while not only were they burning the organic material of the trees and stuff, but the heat was thawing out the ground,
Damn.
that the methane in the ground was catching fire. That's why the Siberian firefighters basically said, "We're done," because the methane was burning.
It's yeah, it's I feel
Because
like
the ground was thawing, so it releases the methane. You had some fire there, and the thing just went up.
oh my god. And so we're just at this precipice of like ecological destruction. And then we
We are.
wow. Damn, Jim. I thought okay.
And then someone posted this a little statistic. There was less fires in the Amazon forest this year because they cut down the freaking trees.
Oh, good point, Jim. I was actually going to bring up the Amazon today. Just like how much, what's the status? If they're still cutting that thing down. It was like, I don't,
Bolsonaro is just going full bore ahead. And now the Amazon is a carbon source. It's no longer a carbon sink, just like the Arctic is no longer a carbon sink. It's a carbon source. So you have these two major regions that are now carbon sources, which will accelerate the increase in the CO2 equivalent amount in the atmosphere, which will then jack up the temperatures some more. And don't forget, we now have 226 zettajoules of heat energy in the oceans. that are just waiting to diffuse to the atmosphere.
Holy okay. It's wild.
It is.
There's so much, like, yeah. Every decade, every year, I view as like an uphill battle, like with less and less resources. Who's actually gonna? Not many. Okay, yeah, it's just so much, Jim. I have to like take a step back and think. That was so the carbon source issue is very interesting.
Everything is just cascading and everything is hitting at one. The positive feedback loops themselves, which are exponentiating, are exponentiating. It's almost like an x factorial to the x factorial function, which is just insanely increases.